Hey, I am outside of the gym, and it's the day after Mother's Day, so traffic is a little bit crazy. I was going to go do this update at the beach, but the traffic is too much, so I'm outside of the gym. I just finished afternoon training, which is pretty quiet on Sundays, but this vlog is just kind of like an update on what's been going on with me. So I've talked about a little bit that I'm in this kind of group mental training thing with me, Shobo, who does the Sports Motivation podcast, and his website is I'm Not You. It's really good. And it's been really, really helpful. It's a lot of hard work. It's group calls several times a week, and then I have an accountability partner as well, who we call each other and make sure that we're like keeping with what we're trying to do, and having to answer to someone like, have you done this thing that you said you want to do, is actually good, I think. But I was laughing with my accountability partner, Jasmine, yesterday when we were on our call, because right now, this week is about like really plotting out your week. So on Sundays, the same way that people who are on diets or whatever will like make all of their food on Sunday so that it's all just planned out and you don't have to think about it all through the week. You do that with your time. So like you schedule out what you're going to be doing all week. You have these time blocks that you can move around, and that's not something I do. Like, I am not a list maker. I'm not a schedule maker, that kind of thing. And probably like 70% of my time is pretty much the same all the time, because I'm at the gym or going home, or, you know, on a schedule all the time. But being able to use the time that's a little bit looser more productively for getting stuff done for my website and for Patreon and content and stuff like that, so that it's not all pushed to the end because I've been procrastinating, is going to make a huge difference. But the reason I was laughing with Jasmine is because she and I are similar in that this week, trying to get our time blocks out, we just can't get it done. That two people don't have time to fill in the like time blocks is really funny. So I was working on that a little bit today, and it was really overwhelming and hard. And so I talked to Kevin about it, and he kind of like talked me off the cliff a little bit. But an interesting thing that's happening with this mental training process is that it's stuff that I've learned to function without, because I've got fear of it and it's uncomfortable, and so I can be pretty high functioning without these things, and I know these things will make me better. But the process of actually attacking my weaknesses and actually going in to make these changes that will make a big difference in my entire process put me under an incredible amount of stress. It's been mentally very difficult. It's mental training, so mentally it will be difficult in the same way that when you're doing physical training and you haven't done it before, when you're first starting your regimen, you're sore, you're tired, you think you're injured from things. Like, it's not easy, and that's what this mental process is like, because I'm not used to that. I ended up getting sick because a bunch of the kids at the gym were sick. And then out of that, maybe because of the lowered immune system and all of the stress, I got shingles. Shingles is not really communicable. I had chickenpox 4 times as a kid, and I had shingles when I was a teenager, so this is just shingles again, but I got them on my face. And it's been incredibly painful. But what was really good about it is that because stress is really what triggers it when you already have a lowered immune system, you can't half-ass the rest. Like, you can't pretend to rest but not really, which is what I do a lot when I'm on my rest times. You have to really like figure out how to recharge and rest your brain. So I was forced to do that and like learn how to do that, which is really good timing for all of this stuff I've been doing. And I couldn't come to the gym because if people have not had chickenpox, shingles can give them chickenpox, and in Asia, chickenpox is not nearly as prevalent as it is in the US, so you don't always get it when you're a kid. Plus, my trainer has a baby, so I didn't want to be anywhere near him. So now I'm healed up and I'm back at the gym, and I was forced to cancel my fights in Chiang Mai because of the shingles, which I never cancel fights, so that was a super bummer. And it's going to be quite a while between my last fight and my next fight, which is on September 1st, but it's Karchuk, so I'm excited about that. But segueing back from my time off and being ill and recovering and mental training and all of those things, segueing back into my regular routine of training at the gym was this grand opportunity to kind of change the way that I do it and to segue in with my mental being caught up with my physical. So I've been trying to approach that responsibly as best as I can and not just get directly back into my same habits, because I've worn some pretty deep grooves and they've gotten me to pretty good places, but they're not good enough. Like they're not adequate, and changes need to be made. So this is a really good way to make those changes, is kind of when you're forced off your spot due to circumstances beyond your control. When you're not on your spot anymore, you can start building in a different way than what you'd already built on that spot you were stuck on. So we had to come up with yearly goals and quarterly goals that will get you towards your yearly goals. And one of the first things that I'm working on is elbows, because I've taken a lot of elbows in fights, but I don't throw them a lot, and I really like them. And I kind of feel like there's a energy or calling about elbows that is like my destiny or something. So my first trainer, Master K, his shorts say elbow KO. He was all about the elbows. They're like this super aggressive, like cruel almost weapon. And then a lot of the fighters who I absolutely love, like Yod Kunpan, is the elbow hunter. Karahat, my absolute favorite fighter, awesome with elbows. So I'm trying to develop into being able to use elbows because I love them so much and because of the kind of power and energy they've had in my path so far. So the way I've been doing that is throwing 1,000 elbows in shadow every day, which is not as crazy as it sounds, but is hard. And when my what are they called? Lymph nodes. My lymph nodes were so swollen that when I would turn my head, you would see it coming out of the side of my neck, and I had them in front of my ears. When I was trying to throw my elbows while I was sick like that, it was incredibly painful, but I kind of liked it in the sense of like you felt every single one. I am crazy. But so my quarterly goal is to cut 3 of my opponents consecutively. So to cut 3 girls in 3 fights in a row is going to require actually throwing a lot of elbows. So I'm in the process of getting to the place where I feel really energized and happy throwing them instead of shrinking from throwing them, which is often what happens in fights and which is why I don't throw them. So I was throwing elbows in like 5 or 6 fights in a row. And then when I got into a fight where I really wanted to throw elbows, I did not throw one. So clearly mental. And then another thing that I'm doing is trying to fight an entire fight southpaw, because I'm working on this, changing my stance because of Karahat. And I work on it a lot in training, but I only do it in flashes in fights, which is partially because it's uncomfortable, and so I'll kind of like retreat back into my normal stance kind of out of the discomfort rather than because it's a good strategy. And then also because I have a little bit of a head thing about it because of Pinu not wanting me to change stance until I'm ready. But you gotta dive before you're ready sometimes, and you gotta fall before you're nice, so I might have to lose a couple of fights trying to get to this southpaw stance, but then I'll be fucking awesome on the other side of it, so I'm excited about that. So that's what's up with me. There's a lot going on, and yet it's all super transformative, which is really cool to me. When you've been in a grind the way that I grind for 5 years, you kind of need to be forced to change things, because it's like when you're clinching and you get in a lock and you're holding somebody and you're like afraid to move, and you're in like an okay position, like you have a good lock on them and you can do things that you want to do, but you have to let go for a second in order to get to the next move or to the next position. Same thing on monkey bars. You got to let go of one rung before you can grab the next one. And I was listening to this story about the Buddha and the beggar yesterday, and I can't tell the entire story because it's too long, but there's a short piece of it, which is there's this 500-year-old turtle who, according to his teachings, should have turned into a dragon by now. And so he asked this guy who's going to see the Buddha to ask him about his destiny if he can ask him also, why have I not become a dragon? And when this guy ends up asking the Buddha, he's like, because he won't leave his shell. Like, you can't be a dragon in a turtle shell. You have to leave your shell to become a dragon. And I almost started crying. It was just such a beautiful representation of what that feels like. It's hard to let go of who you are in order to become this thing that you feel like you should be already. Like, according to my teachings, I should be pretty fucking awesome right now. According to how hard I work, I should be pretty awesome by now. But I haven't let go of the shell, and you have to let go of it in order to ascend to this other thing, in order to transform. You can't keep being what you are. So that was pretty awesome. So I'm going to be way into turtles for a little bit. So I'll try to do another vlog not too long from now so that they're not as long and rambling as this one, but that's what's up with me now. I'm going to go home, and I'm pretty happy with how my work just went just now. It was pretty much just me and Pinu for a little bit in the gym, and then this group from Belarus came in, and I got to help teach clinch, which I always think I don't like to do, but I actually really, really like to do. So that was also a reminder. I'll talk to you guys in a bit.